Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the World Cup 2026 predictions. We are here once again. I'm gonna kind of hold on. I'm just gonna kind of count how many we've done. I believe this is match number 11 of 104. So we're in the, we're getting through them. We're definitely getting through them. Um, this is the other Group E game you would have seen. If you haven't seen, I would go back and watch it because it's one hell of a game. Germany and Curacao open this group, and now Ivory Coast and Ecuador will close out match day one of Group E. Before we get into this, of course, I'm going off of the Google listings of these matches. So if the match orders are wrong or it looks wrong in the thumbnails where it says a certain match number and it's not the right correct match number, I would like to apologise in advance. If the matches are in the wrong order, you can blame Google and not me, because I don't know if they're correct order. To be honest with you, I've just been uploading them as I seen them on Google. Anyway, we're recording this on June 10th. It will be uploaded on June 13th, question mark, or June 12th. It'll be June 13th at midnight. So yeah, pretty much at midnight on that day. So this is when this will be arriving on your screens. So it's an interesting one, this. We'll get into it in a moment in terms of predictions. What we are going to do is we're going to go into the settings as always, double check them. 10-minute halves, legendary difficulty, competitive mode, yes, player base difficulty, yes, everything else as it is. Stadium is basically I'm just going in to change the stadium, but I'm making sure all the other settings are alright. So what I'm going to do for this one, I don't know if it's happening in real life, but I'm going to do it anyway. We're going to use the World Cup final stadium for this one because obviously there will be games happening in the World Cup final one. And I kind of want to see it. The MetLife Stadium, I believe it is. I know it's called the Central Mall Stadium in here, but the MetLife Stadium, I believe, is the final location. So we're going to go with it. And it's being played at midnight, so what would that be? About 7 p.m.? Yeah, we'll go for that. I'm just going 5 hours, like minus 5 hours if the game allows me to do that. If it's wrong, innit? So time is fine. The stadium, yeah, we'll go with the MetLife one just because why not? We haven't used it yet. And we'll go with the greenest pitch colour possible. Obviously, we're going to have to repeat stadiums. Not all the stadiums for the World Cup have been put into the game, so it doesn't really compute, to be honest with you. I've fucked up, haven't I? Oh no, I haven't fucked up. Okay, good. Right. I thought I'd fucked up there. These are your teams then, at least for match day one. I am very intrigued for both of these sides, to be honest, because these two could very much be surprise packages of the World Cup. Now, on the Ivory Coast side, you've got a strong centre-back partnership of Ndika and Kusunu at the back. You've got youngsters coming through like Diomande, but you've also got players that are established as well, like Ahmad, Sangare, Fofana, Kessié. It's a good mix. It's a really good mix of players, and they could shock with just the array of talent they've got. They're one of the most talented African teams currently. Behind, I'd probably say Morocco and maybe Senegal. But Ivory Coast are definitely getting up there, or Côte d'Ivoire, however you want to call it. I'm just going to call them Ivory Coast for simplicity. For Ecuador, there's three players that have been kind of spotted as game changers in that defence. Of course, you can see them. It's not really hidden. Hincapié, Pacho, and Caicedo, or all three, I should say, being hyped up for their ability. Of course, Pacho, back-to-back Champions League winner. Hincapié, also in that Champions League final. Caicedo has just been an absolute baller for Chelsea this season, one of their best players. The concern for Ecuador is the attack, I would say. Plata is decent enough. He's been at a few World Cups. Kendry Paez, still learning, but he's going to become a good player as well, I think. And then Ener Valencia, who I feel, personally, I think he might be past it. He might still get a pop in a goal here and there, but I think personally he's not going to be getting too many at this World Cup. I don't know. I could be proven wrong, but those are your teams. So without any further ado, we'll get into this one, and I'll start predicting, and we will start getting on with it. So the Central Mall Stadium / MetLife Stadium, 10 minutes half length, legendary difficulty, authentic game type, and a sunny day at 7 p.m. So for Group E, this will close it out. It is Côte d'Ivoire versus Ecuador. I also need to remember today to update the spreadsheet. It should be updated by the time you all see this anyway.
You won't want to miss a second of it. A warm welcome on what is a lovely evening for football. Guy Mowbray with you for commentary alongside Sue Smith. And with the atmosphere building up nicely, what a match this promises to be. What are we
Right
going to
then,
get from this
I
one?
really don't know which way this is going to go. I think I've got an idea in my head of a score prediction, but I'm not. I'm still thinking about it as the teams make their entrances here. Still undecided, but I think I know what I'm going to go for, or I'm considering anyway. So we'll let the anthems play out, and then we'll get into the nitty gritty. Right then, let's get into it. The teams will be showing up on your screen right now. Emerse Faye has picked this squad for his Ivory Coast side, and it is a strong one, as we already covered. Definitely some depth on the bench as well that could be used. Very, very good depth as well. You can see some of the names on there. Two Diamandes. One of them obviously is Usman Diamande, who he's becoming a very good centre back, and then Yan Diamande, who could be a £100 million player this transfer window, depending on his World Cup. Could be going to Liverpool, could be going anywhere. He's been heavily linked, and he had a great season in the Bundesliga last season, so he's heavily linked to pretty much everywhere at the moment. But yeah, we've also talked about how defensively sound Ecuador could be, with Hincapié, Paggio, Caicedo as well. The concern is the attack. Sebastian Becacheche, that's his team, or Becacheche? I don't know. That's a weird name. Not weird name in a bad way, but I just don't know how you pronounce it. So that is the Ecuador side. Now, for a score prediction, I think Ivory Coast have the better attack, as Ecuador will kick this off and go right to left. Ivory Coast left to right. I do think that Ivory Coast have the better attack, but I also think that Ecuador have a really good defence. So it's a hard one to think on. I don't think there's going to be much in it. I'm going between a 1-1 draw or a 2-1 win for one way or the other. I don't know which way. I think I'm going to go 1-1 draw. I think that Ivory Coast, with their attacking quality and their ability, will get a goal. But I don't think they'll get much more than that, just because of how defensively sound Ecuador are. And I think, well, maybe in the real life game, maybe not in this simulation on screen, I think in the real life game Ecuador will get a penalty, and Valencia will put it away, and it'll be 1-1. That is kind of my prediction. I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw. I can't separate either of these two teams as much as I want to, but they might separate themselves here, as Ahmad hangs around on the edge of the box, turns it inside to Bonnie. It's closed down by Pacho and away by Stupinyan. It's a hard one to kind of differentiate, but I think I'm going to go 1-1. I think that's my prediction, 1-1 in this one. I just don't see either team beating the other, just because both have that kind of surprise package element to them. Ivory Coast have got the youth players coming through, some brilliant talents coming through, but you've also got to think about Ecuador, how resolute they are, how experienced they are, because there's a mix of both. There's experience for both sides, really. I mean, Ivory Coast have got some experienced players. Ahmad, I would count at this point. Sangare, Kessié as well. Fofana has been at a couple of World Cups, and it could be the first goal. It's not the first goal, as Bonnie opted to square it. It was closed down by Hincapié, but Ivory Coast will come again through Ahmad. Fofana now inside to Sangare. It is off to Kessié, and now Touré playing around the outside of the box, trying to make some space. Space has been made, but Kessié can't find Bonnie there, and it will be away once again. It's just going to be a very good quality match, I think. I don't think there's going to be a lot in it. And I'm more thinking for Ecuador's goal, I think they'll get a little bit lucky to get a goal. I think the majority of this game will be the Ivory Coast attacking Ecuador. But Ecuador more than able to deal with it, just with some of their world-class defensive players. Whereas if Ecuador attack Ivory Coast, they've got good defenders, but I think Ecuador are probably more likely to score if they continue to attack. However, I think, to make it simple, I think Ivory Coast will attack more, Ecuador will defend more, and it'll just be a game of fine margins. I'm predicting a goal for each because I think Ivory Coast will score, but I don't think Ecuador will lose. So I'm saying 1-1. I think it'll end as a draw. And Moises Caicedo now into Valencia, I believe, through Vite. And now Kendry Paez lashes it wide. I don't think it was the worst effort on goal, but it didn't worry the goalkeeper. So it can't have been that close. So maybe it was, and it was just going to be an unstoppable finish. However, off target, Fofana gets maybe a little bit scared, but nothing doing in the end. And now we need to find a goal for both sides here because I have predicted that. So it'd be nice if we could. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen.
Pass and move. They just can't get near them here. Beautifully weighted ball.
Ball in, Kessié, and there is the goal.
And they have the lead.
And it is for Côte d'Ivoire. I did not expect them to score that quickly. 15 minutes in. And the highly hyped Ecuadorian defence has been undone. It's a great ball on the edge of the area, and it does look like it's aimed to be closed down there. I think it's Pacho, but it has not been closed down. Right, one of the midfielders tracking back. It's actually well worked off the left, and I actually did miss quite a bit of that attack, I'll be honest with you. I was trying to sort stuff out next to me. But what I do know is that it's finished off by Kessié, I believe set up by Toure. And that will be the first goal for this match. And as it stands, and I will throw little spoilers in here, but if you haven't watched the video yet, go back and watch it. Germany versus Curacao. Currently, both Germany and Côte d'Ivoire are equal at the top of the table. Yep, that's right. Germany only won 1-0. I wouldn't be surprised if Germany don't make it through top, to be honest. They should have enough quality to do so, but I don't. Again, it's their strikers. For Germany, I don't have much faith in any of them. Probably Havertz is the one I'd have the most faith in. Voltemada played out of position, and I can't remember who else there was. There was somebody else though. Paez, ball in, away by Kasunu, and Ivory Coast will get it clear. There is somebody else who I just can't think of off the top of my head. There's Bayer, I'm pretty sure. Bayer got picked. He's alright, he's pretty good. But that's not a striker I'm thinking of. I'm trying to think of their other attacking options. Regardless, alright, they don't have a proper number 9 that I think will do the job.
Really nice build-up players.
So they could struggle in this group. They've got a very good quality team everywhere else though, so who knows. What I do know is it could be 2 if Ivory Coast aren't, or if Ecuador aren't careful, but Nkapie closes down Fofana. At that time, they're going to be coming back again for seconds here as Kessié plays it out wide to Conan. Inside to Kessié, the ball could be very, very good here, and it's Amad Diallo who shoots straight at the Ecuadorian goalkeeper. I believe Galindez is his name. Had to react fast because I had fucking venom on it, but an easy enough save. His near post. But again, the Ivory Coast going forward. Pacho. Oh my god, what the fuck happened there? I thought Pacho had that covered, but Ahmad goes and smacks the crossbar. I think it deflected off of Pacho, fell to Ahmad, and we were a crossbar away from a second goal for the Ivory Coast. And for me being able to plug some Man United agenda as Ahmad, who's actually been playing good this World Cup, or this game so far. Wish he would do it for us a bit more. He's not been bad for Man United, but I know there's more there. I just need him to find it. I thought Pacho had that covered all day long though, but then I saw the shot and I was like, wait a minute. As he shot that towards his own goal, and I saw the replay, it was Ahmad. Stealing in and hitting the crossbar. Respect, respect. And they come again. They're going to continue. This is what I mean. This Ivory Coast attack will put this Ecuador defence under pressure all day long. And it is another save from Galindez. I believe Fofana with the effort. But the pressure that Ivory Coast is putting on here, this could be dangerous for... Well, it probably will be dangerous to Curacao. I think probably we can accept that that will be an Ivory Coast win. But I would even say Ivory Coast could put Germany to the sword at this rate. Ecuador clearing it, but not with any real aim, not with any real objective. They need to try and find a way to fight back a bit here, and this is what I mean. And I'm thinking that Ivory Coast will be too strong in attack, but I do think that Ecuador will get a lucky goal. I don't think they'll get away with just winning this Ivory Coast. I feel like Ecuador could steal something, like a penalty or something. I think it might be a penalty equaliser in real life. That's why I'm not, fully committing to the fact that Ivory Coast will win this. That's why I'm not fully committing to the fact that Ecuador will win this. I don't think either will get the win. I think Ivory Coast will probably deserve one based on stats. I just don't think they'll manage it. Ecuador just taking a bit of time on the ball here. This is what they need. They need to keep the ball for as long as they can here, because if they don't, Ivory Coast will just come back again with more and more vim, with more and more aim on the goal. If you can hear me shuffle around my stuff, I swear I had another Lucozade bottle, but I don't know where it's gone. I might have already drank it. We're on the water anyway today. Stay hydrated. Booting the ball forward. It's cleared away by Ndika. Nkapie does win it. It's about over Bonnie. Caicedo wins that battle. He's going to win a lot of his battles today. Moises Caicedo. Angulo plays it straight to Ahmad, and now the Ivory Coast can go again. Fofana, not the one you'd really want running through here on the counter-attack. The ball was played back to Bonnie, and he got pressured out of it. And now it's Ecuador looking for a leveller before the break. They really need it. Otherwise, momentum could go all the way to the Ivory Coast. And there'd be no stopping him.
Piero Nkapie. Moving nicely. Real purpose to this.
Angulo. Ooh, Ahmad could cut out. Thought he got hurt there initially, but he does get straight back up.
Kessié. Seko Fofana. Oh, that's a lovely pass.
Oh, picked out the perfect run there. He's such a clever player, isn't he?
Could get it over now. Could be setting something.
Could be a second. Oh, it's a great save by Galindez. I look away for a second and they're in the Ecuador box. I need to focus here because I'm going to miss something. Bonnie. Kessié again. Galindez has been put to work this first half. Oh man, this isn't even their final form, Ivory Coast. They've got options on the bench to just continue this onslaught, which I presume they will use in the second half down the line at some point. Bonnie. Sangare. Ahmad tries to play through Fofana. It's away again, but this has been a first half largely controlled by Côte d'Ivoire. And if you're Ecuador, you can't just rely on your defence. I know they're very good. I know one of them's a back-to-back Champions League winner. But you can't just rely on your defence. You're going to have to push forward. You're going to have to now find an equaliser, potentially a winner in this one. That's what happened with the Netherlands and Japan game. Japan found the lead and the Netherlands had to go at them, and eventually they did. Ecuador, similar story, now have to go. If not now, then in the second half. They need to have a game plan ready for the second half that they're going to execute, because this passing around the midfield isn't going to be enough. Plata, Valencia runs through. This might be enough though. Enner Valencia hits the crossbar and it is going to be away. Warning notice for the Ivory Coast. Angulo is offside. That was mightily close to an equaliser. I did say Enner Valencia might pop up with a goal. I don't believe he's the same player he was 4 years ago at the World Cup, but don't rule him out either, because he came millimetres away from levelling just before the break. I think we will go into the break with a 1-0 lead for the Ivory Coast, but a bit of drama at the end of the half. Don't rule it out. Why is my cable stuck on my foot? All these questions for the second half. In all seriousness, that could have been ropes for the Ivory Coast. After a half dominated, it could have been going in level. Only just luck that they're not. Take a look then at the statistics, fam. It is a one-way traffic kind of game in terms of attack. I mean, towards the end there, Ecuador could have got something, but 51-49 in terms of possession, just ahead for the Ivory Coast. It feels like it's one of those games where both teams have shared the ball quite a lot, so can't really dispute that. 7 shots to 2 in favour of the leaders here. Ivory Coast putting in a shift attacking-wise, but Galindez making a good amount of saves so far. We'll probably need to continue to do that if he wants to keep his country in this match. 2.6 expected goals to 1 for the Ivory Coast. But of course, that expected goal for Ecuador probably is the one where Enner Valencia hit the crossbar to close out the half. So, very interesting read at the break. Take a look at performances. You've got to assume that the Ivory Coast attack have been the ones. Pacho has been covering everything he can. He's not the only defender, however, but Nkapie, little bit off the boil, I will say, first half. Purvis Estupiñán's been alright. Casado's been alright. Nothing incredible. Hernan Galindez has been very good. Obviously, couldn't stop the goal from Kessié, but does have a good game. Well, he's had a good game since that, to be honest with you. 5 shots, 4 saves, 1 conceded. He's kept it at 1-0. It could have been way worse. Enner Valencia struggling up top. Did hit the crossbar, but hasn't really been having the service this game. I did think he was going to have a bit of an issue this time around. It's been correct. Kendry Paez doesn't know how to play into the game either. That's just a testament to the Ivory Coast defensive area as well. Fofana's been good. Sangari's been good. Kessié, of course, got the goal. He's been solid. The midfields have been good for both teams. 7.7. Johan Bonney probably not quite as happy as he would be. A shot off target is all he's had so far. Bazumana Toure getting the assist off the left like I thought he did. 7.1. Ahmad, I'd argue, has been a little bit better than that, but I'm biased. And then Yaya Fofana, not a shot in his goal yet, so you can't really fairly rate him. But that's probably a good thing as well, because it means he's not had much to do. Defensively, I thought they'd done alright, but Kasuna apparently struggling, and Ndika not doing much better. Take notes, Ecuador, because that could be your route through. Don't believe there's going to be any substitutions. It doesn't seem like they do substitutions at halftime in these kind of games, so I think that's going to be a common thing. We've said it every time, I think, so far. No substitutes at halftime. We'll go into the second half. Will Ecuador fight back in, or will Côte d'Ivoire get a little goal difference going, potentially? Obviously, swapping ways now. And it's Ecuador going from left to right, Ivory Coast going right to left. This is your first game as a football fan. They change halves. If you're watching this, you already know. If your first game as a football fan is watching me simulate Ivory Coast and Ecuador, I would advise watching something else first. This is not your first. This shouldn't be your first experience of the beautiful game. Toure down the left. He has got nothing in the middle. He opts to play it back to Bonney. It's on to Kessié instead. Bonney dummies it. I don't know why Bonney isn't in the striker spot, if I'm being transparent. If he's in the middle there, probably a lot more helpful. Plata now for Ecuador. Paez needs to pick it up. Valencia needs to pick it up. The whole Ecuadorian attack needs to pick it up. The Ivorian defence have not been great. Try and exploit that space and you'll find an equaliser, I think. Plata. Out wide to Paez. I don't know if he's still on. He is still on. Can't confirm. Inside to Ordonez. On one more. It's blocked by Kasunu as Plata makes the effort to go inside. And it will be an Ecuadorian corner. That's what I mean. They're not closing down the spaces. They got quite a lot of space there, did Ecuador. And it was only because Kasunu blocked it. It's not level. So there's definitely a case for an equaliser on here. As it's going to be Casado to deliver towards Nkapie. Oh, it's away by Ndika. Viteo picks it up. Preciado. Estupiñán now out to Preciado. Could find the ball in the centre here to Enner Valencia. Turns his man. Hits the crossbar again. Have you seen a man so unlucky?
Well, I'm not sure how
That's twice now Enner Valencia's hit the woodwork. And Ivory Coast are really not looking like they did the first half. It's been all Ecuador since that second half whistle brought the match back underway. And Enner Valencia, once again, so close, a whisker away. And it's not a bad performance from him, it's just bad luck. Because he's hit the crossbar just before the half, he's hit the crossbar just after the half. And now it's Ivory Coast that could go and grab a second here. As Toure in an advanced position, Conan to Sangare, Fofana. It would be cruel if they did. Kessié can't find the shot, could find the pass to Johan Bonney. It's closed down by Estupiñán and they will get it away. But it's not fully away. Ecuador will feel hard done by it. Enner Valencia especially will feel like he's been treated like shit here because he's not been able to find that finish. Toure inside to Kessié. Johan Bonney, it's off target, not really well controlled with the shot. I mean, it's come to life, this one. Ecuador definitely making those statements known, but they just need to put the ball a little bit lower when they're shooting because They haven't scored yet.
And it's been cut out. There's the turnover. Kessié. Played in with that.
Kessié. Bonnie.
The ball well here,
Fofana.
looking to extend the lead.
It's the Ivory Coast now. They need to get their rhythm back, and they're looking to do that.
Yeah, did well to stop the danger.
Movement now from Ecuador, though. If they could find spaces, I've said it again. I'll continue to say it. They're gonna breach this at some point. I feel like they have to.
Kessié. Sangare.
Sangare,
Kessié now.
Bonnie, Kessié. Oh, Ahmad. Oh, is it? The referee's given it,
And it's a booking.
Yeah,
and
you
it's a
can't
yellow
argue with that,
card
can
for
ya?
William Pacho. Is it though? Is it a penalty? I don't know about that. Ahmad goes down far too easily, but it's been given, and this will be a hammer blow if you are Ecuador here, because they've been so good the second half, and it's going to be Kessié to maybe put his country 2-0 up, and he does. I don't know if that's a penalty, but again, I don't think my opinion matters. The game has said yes. After a check, they've also said yeah, penalty.
Well, you can see it
So,
here again. This is a good
It's
penalty.
stroked down the middle
Straight
by
down the
Kessié,
middle. The goalkeeper's committed,
and it's
all
2-0
that he can
to
do
the
is
Ivory
just
Coast,
watch
when it
it
could have
settle in.
been very
Cool
much
as you
1-1
like.
on a couple of occasions. Ahmad goes down very softly, and Pacho does get booked, but I'm not. I mean, take your pick there, ladies and gentlemen. Is that a penalty or not? My feeling on it is that it probably would be, but the contact is very soft. You can see them giving it either way. It probably is a penalty after all, but I don't know.
And the pass narrowly fails to reach
If anything,
its
that's going to take the
target.
wind out of Ecuador, who have been knocking on the door for the equaliser. And it's up the other end. It's Pacho who may have cost him the game. Unintentionally, obviously. Just trying to get Ahmad off the ball with his strength.
Fofana.
Either
Lovely position
out-strengthened
to be
him
in.
too much and the ref didn't
ball
like
and
it,
keeping the lead.
or there is some definite contact there. Like I said, very soft penalty, but it's one that's going to stand.
From Kessié. Really
And
nice
that might just
play.
take the South
What can they do
American
with
side
this
out of the
now?
game, to be honest with you, as number 3 could be on the way. Ahmad played it back to Fofana, inside to Sangare. It's closed down first by Vite, but it's going to be coming back in, I'm sure. Fofana to Bonnie. Oh, that's really well done. And that's not well done at all, though.
A superb performance.
It was well done until it wasn't. Kessié's got a hat-trick. It's 3-0 Ivory Coast. You can see that the confidence is gone. Bonnie absolutely does Pacho. It's one that you don't want to risk if you are William Pacho, in case another penalty is given away. He's already on a booking, so I think it's a nutmeg, to be honest with you. And then the save falls to Kessié, who will not miss from there. Should have been cleared, I think, by Ordonez, to be honest, but Kessié gets his foot there first, and it's a hat-trick for a CDM in this World Cup. We've had a game where Son scored 5, but he's up front. You'd expect it more. CDM getting a hat-trick in your opening group stage game, you'd maybe question it a bit more. You'd maybe not be sure on that one.
Ibrahim Sangare.
I
Oh, that's a lovely
think it's
pass.
definitely gone now. I mean, it was gone when the penalty happened.
Caicedo.
They might get a goal now, but again, I feel like the wind's been sucked out of this Ecuador potential comeback.
That's been adjudged to be
Offside,
offside.
and Fofana catches anyway. Changes to be made. Conan coming on, or coming off, I should say, for Singo. Ivory Coast looking to hold on to this clean sheet. That's what I mean. They've got a really good depth to hold on to this one, and I mean, they will hold on to this one. It's a 3-0 advantage now. If Ecuador score 3 goals, I'll eat my hat. I don't even have a hat. I'll go buy a hat just so I can eat it. However, I think that penalty shout took the wind out, and then Patro's confidence has just plummeted since then. And he was the best defender of the first half. And Capie hasn't really been covering as much as we know he can. I think it is going to be just kind of a run down the clock, see it out type beat.
Pacho. Incapia. Great instinct there to cut it out.
Ecuador can't be doing this passing around the back shit.
Incapia. We're inside the final quarter of an hour now.
Capie. Casero. Ordonez. They need to move this forward. If there's any faint signs of a comeback, they need to go for it, and go for it more than they already were. I swear to God, if Ener Valencia hits the crossbar again, I think he might lose his marbles. Estupinian. Kendrick Paez can't get past Fofana. Yeah, the confidence is gone. The confidence is gone. And it could get ugly here. There is a chance that Ivory Coast get another one in here and kind of put it beyond doubt.
Ibrahim Sangare. Kessié now.
I do think Ivory Coast will slightly underperform in real life to what we're expecting of them in this one. And I think the Ecuadorian defence will do a hell of a job, which is why I'm saying 1-1, but the simulation has said otherwise. They've said, yeah, well, the attack for Ivory Coast is going to be too good, and the CDM's going to score a hat-trick, mate. So I can't really argue with that. Just away again by Ivory Coast, and they will look just to see this game out, hold on to the goal difference, because it could come down to the goal difference, depending on whether they qualify. Of course, when I do the spreadsheet, I'll be doing these groups from the simulation against the groups from real life, and I know the teams that will get through in the simulation won't be the same ones that get through in real life. So some people or some countries on the simulation end that should get through their groups will not be playing in the round of 32. So say if Ivory Coast top the group in the simulations, they don't do it in real life, then they're not going through, despite what the simulation has said, because we're going to be doing the real life round of 32s and round of 16s and quarterfinals, and so on and so forth. So it won't be based off a simulation like if Ivory Coast and, say, England were to go through and face each other, and that isn't the match in real life, because both of them have been grouped. We're not going to be doing that match. It's going to be the ones that happen in the real round of 32. So there might be some controversy over that, I know, but we're just seeing what the results would be versus what the results are going to be in real life. And then we're going to play the knockout rounds as what the real knockout rounds would be, which I think makes sense, which I think is fair. And I think we should know in plenty of time in advance what the knockout rounds will be. I will endeavour to keep the uploads at 2 days before the actual match occurs, but if I don't find out the respective match in time, then I won't be doing that. Obviously, I'll just do it as soon as I know about it and have time to sit for 40 minutes, get one of these out. Knockout round's going to be the hardest bit because I don't know who's going to be where. What I do know is it could be 4-0 here as Amad Diallo plays it out to Toure. It's back into Kessié. Bonny again. Don't give it to Kessié, my God. Bloody scoring fiend here. Oh, for the love of Christ. Right, what is going on here? I've just jinxed it. 4-0. And it's 4 from the captain. Now, if they do win 4-0 and Kessié scores all 4, this will look like a masterclass of a prediction. However, I don't think it'll happen like that. Galindez losing confidence as well. Had a really good first half, but I think it all fell apart for Ecuador since that penalty, and it's a 50-50 penalty. Either give those or you don't. I've seen them not given, but that one was given. And obviously, sound off in the comments if you want about whether it was a penalty or not. I think it probably just was. Just enough contact to give it, but again, you've seen them not given as well. And 3 minutes of added time here, as Ivory Coast will see out a very, very dominant group win here. It's not been, you know, smooth sailing, but it has been very good from them, and they are value for the win. But you gotta think about poor Enter Valencia, who had 2 opportunities to make this 1-1 a lot earlier in this match. Missed both of them by hitting the crossbar, and then the penalty. Very soft challenge on Ahmad, but a penalty nonetheless. And that's kind of what led to the fall of Ecuador, and the fact that Kessié has scored 4 goals in this one is madness, by the way. He is a DM, or at very best a centre mid. Expect all these young attackers to steal the show, and then you've got a 30 plus just scoring everything. I think he's 30 plus. My apologies, he's 29. I profusely apologise. I just assumed because he was in Saudi he was 30 plus. But it's a 4-0 win for Ivory Coast. Kessié with all 4 is a madness, fam, you get me. In all seriousness, unlucky there for Ecuador, and Ivory Coast put them to the sword after the penalty and then just ran away with it. Taking a look at the match facts actually first before we go into the performances, it is 53 to 47 in terms of possession to the Ivory Coast. 12 shots to 4 as well. I'm not saying they weren't full value for the win, because they were. I'm just not sure if 4-0 is fair, to be honest with you. But football's not fair. Life isn't fair. It's 12 shots to 4, like I said. 5.5 expected goals to 1.6. They were definitely dominant. Very, very unlucky for Ecuador to not at least have 1 or 2 on the board, with 2 crossbar hits from their main target man. But it's a clean sheet just about for Côte d'Ivoire. And I don't think it'll be that dominant in real life. I thought maybe going 2-1 to Côte d'Ivoire would be a silly scoreline just because of how good the Ecuadorian defence is. And the game said, yeah, well, 4-0, mate. So maybe me thinking them they were going to win wasn't a bad idea. I've locked in with my 1-1 now, though, and I'm going to stick with it. But that is the ratings, as Estupinian pushed up the pitch to left mid, 7.3 rating. Pacho, it's a difficult game to judge because he gave away the penalty, lost his confidence, kind of was at fault for the third as Johan Bonny nutmegged him, but he still, for the most part, I guess, put in a decent shift. It's just those 2 little incidents that, well, I say 2 little incidents, it's caused 2 goals, it's not little incidents at all. I don't know if I'd rate him that highly by the end of it. Caicedo dropped off as well. Ordóñez tried to cover that centre-back role when Capia got pushed out to left-back. Galindez in the end, 6.3, tried his best, but the firepower got a bit too much. 9 shots, 5 saves, 3 goals conceded, it says here, but they actually conceded 4, so bit of mathematics needed done there, I suppose. And yeah, Enter Valencia, 5.4. He's not shot on target, but you take into account that 2 of those shots hit the woodwork. It's not. I don't think it's a 5.4 game at all. It's just a very unlucky game if you are him. However, on the flip side, it is Kessié, man of the match. Who else could you give it to? He's playing at centre mid or CDM, depending on where you deploy him. He's scored 4 goals from that position, and he's, well, I wouldn't say he's single-handedly done it, but he's very much an important part of this win for the Ivory Coast. Sangare Fofana very well played it in midfield. Johan Bonny didn't get a goal, but he was instrumental in especially that third one for Kessié. Ahmad did a little better. Not quite what we usually see from him. Well, not quite what we expect, I should say. We do usually see it. We usually see a bit of a mid-game now, unfortunately. But he did win the penalty, and Kessié did put it away. So, big contribution there as well. But Zumana Torre off the left-hand side, 2 assists in the end for 2 of Kessié's goals. 7.3. Defence was strong enough, got the job done. Yayo Fofana, at the end of the day, had no shots to save. So, can't really give him a fair rating coming out of this one. 2 of them hitting the crossbar, 2 of them going miles off. So, it doesn't really matter in terms of his goalkeeping performance, but he has to know that it won't be this easy all the time in between the sticks at Ivory Coast, because they've got Curaçao, who are going to want to prove themselves, and they've got Germany, who are going to want to prove themselves as well. They've been kind of talked as maybe they'll flop, maybe they're one of the big nations that will struggle. However, I don't know. I don't know which way this group's going to go, but that is a big win for Côte d'Ivoire, and at least in simulation land, they moved to the top of Group E on goal difference. But ladies and gentlemen, that will wrap up this one. I don't know if it's going to be 4-0 in real life. I'm saying 1-all, and even then I think it might be a stretch. I think Côte d'Ivoire probably do find 3 points, but it's just I'm believing so much in that Ecuadorian defence that they'll only let one in and then they'll get a lucky penalty up the other end. That's my thinking. Whether it's correct or incorrect, I guess we'll see as the World Cup goes on. I hope you guys have enjoyed this one, and I hope you guys will continue to enjoy the World Cup. Take care.